In a gotta have it game, the Chiefs defense fell apart multiple times on third down against the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And we saw multiple players that the Chiefs have put a ton of faith in Shamari Connor and Jalen Watson fail in big moments. Yes, Trent McDuffie had a poor game. I'm willing to accept that. Every once in a while, you're going to have a bad game. But in these situations, the failure to adjust from Jalen Watson and Shamari Connor put the Chiefs in awful positions, and specifically on third down, we're making back-breaking mistakes leading to extended drives from the Cowboys. Today on RGR Football, we are going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys game on Thanksgiving and where the Chiefs went wrong multiple times on third down, throw a fourth down in there as well because the scheme on that fourth down play was terrible. And we're going to get into it today. Like I said, here on RGR Football, my name is Daniel Harms, senior film analyst. You guys can follow me on Twitter at InHarmsWay19. If you are new to the channel, please hit that sub button right now. And we are going to dive into some tape because, again, I want to get into this. It's very important that we discuss this, we talk about it, because at the end of the day, this defense on the road was not good enough, even with situations like this, where you get Jalen Watson with the interception early on in the football game. It's a fantastic design, too, because what the Chiefs are actually doing is bringing in something that they haven't done before. They have not done this yet this season, at least to my knowledge, where you're going to take all these linebackers, you're going to mug them up, right? You've got three defensive tackles, quote unquote, on the field, a three down front, Charles Omenihu at your zero tech. Now, they've done things like this before, but they have not really changed it out like they're about to right here. And then with the motion over, Shamari Connor, who was bumped down, looking like he was going to blitz as well, bumps out. But the end right here, you actually get Jaden Hicks coming on to the from the left side free with that motion down. All of this looks very different, right? The Chiefs have three linebackers on the field. They have a big slot as well. So you really don't know what they're going to get. But what you're going to see here is the blitz comes on. Chris Jones is actually dropping out into coverage. So is Leo Chanel. And the Chiefs move their safeties around a little bit there. Boom, right here. You get both Shamari Connor backing out and as well as Brian Cook to this cover two type of shell and more of a cover four look overall. And what that means, again, if you guys don't know, you got corner, safety, safety, corner. And this is where you're allowed to get a little creative with it, specifically on Jalen Watson's side, because he's got eyes on the quarterback. He's in position to be able to make a play on the throw here if it comes down to it. But pressure is in Dak's face right here. So he's able to kind of sit on this throw to the out route that here, or the corner route that Dak Prescott never actually sees Jalen Watson fall into. So really a well-designed blitz and then dropping out of Chris Jones into the flat on the right side. This is something that early on in the football game, Dak Prescott did not do a very good job of in identifying where the blitz was and attacking the blitz in that way. Because right here on Chris Jones, I'm going to take a tight end on Chris Jones every single day of the week. But he never saw that blitz coming from Jaden Hicks. They were able to get him early on in this football game. And then you just get a nice gimme pick to Jalen Watson there with a free rusher, which is something they haven't really been able to do either in this season, which is generate free rushers. And that's a really nice job here from the Chiefs front. You've got Drew Tranquil going out wide, both George Karlaftis and Nick Bolton caving the right-hand side in with Charles Omenihu on that right side as well. So you get that free rusher, Jaden Hicks, right in Dak Prescott's blind side because he's not looking over there on that right side. He's looking to his left where he thought the advantage was for George Pickens. So again, well-designed play on this first third down of the football game, but this is really where it goes downhill for the Chiefs because after that, it was a bloodbath on third down. Honestly, the Cowboys had their second best conversion rate on third down against the Chiefs in this game with 56.3% conversion rate. So when the Chiefs come out here in this man cover look with the blitz, Dak Prescott does a really nice job of getting to the line of scrimmage, identifying it, and then changing the play. So kind of go back just a little bit more here because I think it's important that we identify, what they're doing for this specific play. So he comes up right here. You've got a stack formation on this side right here. And based, at least in my opinion, based on what the defense looks like they're doing, it looks like man coverage. All right. It looks like you got a blitz, right? So Dak's going to do what he does. He gets up to the line of scrimmage. He's going to make a call, make a check, right? Checks out here. They're going to motion inside here, move the formation around a little bit, and create a natural out breaking route for CD Lamb right here. So he's going to go and an out route. They also have a short in route here, and then up that left hand seam for the tight end. So they're clearing out this part of the field and they're creating a one-on-one situation for CD Lamb against inside leverage, where one thing that we knew in this game watching it full is that offensively speaking, they weren't getting any offensive pass interference, even though we saw multiple pushes at the top of routes and then kind of just letting the receiver take that DB upfield. So he sees the blitz coming. They don't actually get home immediately. And because he's so good from getting into his drop and then throwing this football with anticipation, I mean, he probably could have even thrown this a little bit earlier if he wanted to, but it's a really good, well-placed football at the sideline. CeeDee Lamb, again, little push at the top of the route, takes Trent McDuffie continuing outside up the field. And right here, he's wide open on a man coverage blitz, a cover one blitz on third down. This one was a 3rd and 8. And when you're going to give Dak some answers to the test specifically, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where he didn't throw to the blitz side. I mean, they've got multiple players, or the Chiefs, that is, have multiple players on this side of the ball. And I mean, look at this. There's no free rusher here. There isn't any. And Chris Jones on this side has a one-on-one with Tyler Booker, who, if you guys watched my Chris Jones film breakdown, you will notice that one of the things that he does struggle with at times is when he gets jabbed in the chest. Right here, Booker is one of the strongest players in the NFL already as a young player who's able to get in underneath and really extend. He's very strong in that regard. So he throws him off a little bit there. Even then, Chris is still able to kind of fold him down, but it doesn't matter because CeeDee Lamb has that one-on-one with Trent McDuffie with inside leverage. It's important to understand the leverage of the DB, because when you change the play and when you move that formation like Dak did, we saw Trent McDuffie bump out to the slot right there on CeeDee Lamb, but he doesn't have outside leverage. He has inside leverage. So when you change it to an out route, it's very easy for them to create natural separation, even with a little bit of a push at the top of the route. So it's a well done adjustment from Dak Prescott, as well as CeeDee Lamb understanding that and getting through it. So, and this is just another problem that the Chiefs had in multiple situations. I think that they had a good idea specifically of rotating safeties, of dropping players into coverage. However, what we see here is we're going to show 2 high safeties with Brian Cook, Chamari Connor, and what they're actually going to do is rotate Chamari Connor down here. Brian Cook's going to rotate out. Trent McDuffie's going to rotate back. So you have a lot of movement in the back end, and what that creates is underneath problems, specifically when you have to drop now Charles Omenihu into coverage as more of just this underneath defender. So when you have this like apex defender here who's running to space, right? He's not dropping back, right? He's not mirroring the quarterback's eyes. He's dropping to a spot. Eyes are turned to that receiver. So you see how this creates a problem. You've got Chamari Connor down the middle of the field here on that tight end, which is fine. But this is where you can't be for Charles Omenihu. And this is part of the problem with creating these type of rotations and dropping guys into coverage when you can't get home. It's not an issue when you can get home because Spags has done this time after time after time. But the problem comes when you can't actually get home with the blitz. So we've got both blitz here and blitz here and then we see that rotation on. Dak's going to the right first, but there's no immediate pressure, right? And this is another thing too. Like you've got Ashton Gelati coming out here, and Jaden Hicks is not really doing a good job of quickly identifying that and getting into that B gap. So that takes even longer to do, but overall, they didn't get any pressure on that at all. The running back was right there, and then you have CeeDee Lamb breaking open over the middle of the field because of that clear out route too. So everything here shows you why if you cannot create quick pressure with the blitz, you are going to be gashed, specifically when you are dropping defensive ends into that apex zone. They are not naturally designed players to drop back and pedal, right? They're trying to get to a spot And then when you are in that spot, your hips are already turned to that side. So Chris Jones, even though he does end up winning right here, both the guys in the middle of the blitz right there, not doing anything. Jaden Hicks needs to get into this side first. I know they're going to crash down and loop, but this is ends up being a bad situation where you have two players in the exact same spot. Now, if you have a loop on, then Hicks is at fault here. If you know that number 97 is going to come around here because you've got Karlaftis coming here, you have to go here immediately. You have to wait for that for number 97 to get down and then get into that gap. Unfortunately, he's too far upfield. You're not creating enough pressure early on to move Dak Prescott off his spot, and then he's able to get back to the middle of the field for a big play. And then the play after that, they actually had a 3rd and 10. This was in the red zone where Trent McDuffie is on CeeDee Lamb and he accidentally falls down on the double move. The double move doesn't make him fall down, but it does contribute to him being behind the play, and then he just slips. So I didn't show that one because it was a relatively easy play to break down if Trent McDuffie doesn't fall. At worst, it's an OPI and it's at the 2-yard, it's a DPI and it's at the 2-yard line. But I think he has a really good chance of breaking that play up if he doesn't fall. So we're just going to get into another third and short situation where the Chiefs are going to play a good cover one robber and actually give you good man coverage on the side here and force some players into situations that they don't want to. They get a little bit of pressure on Dak Prescott, but ideally what he's looking for with George Pickens motion in. So we got that in and out from George Pickens, identifying, yep, that's man coverage with Trent McDuffie in the slot on George Pickens, who is trying to run this out route more quickly. Then you've got more of a spot route here from the tight end. And this is the place that Dak looks to go, right? So we know based off the leverage of the safeties, you can't get there. So his eyes are going to go to the right first. And I truly think that because of what Trent McDuffie does at the top of the route right here is create that little bit of contact, it forces George Pickens to then reroute. This is a good DB making a good play because I know that McDuffie had his ups and downs in this game. He nearly gave them a shot to win it with that fumble, that punch out that he had. But this is a really good play on Pickens, who I think wanted to get to his out route a little bit earlier. But because McDuffie made that contact, you see the timing gets thrown off, and then he's got to reroute himself and get back to the out. So Dak Prescott thinks that this is already going to be out, right? He thinks he's already going to be out of his route. And then so we see the little bit of a the throw going to a different spot on the field. And really this comes down to, I think, Charles Omenihu flashing just a little bit. He's going to take the right tackle into the backfield and kind of flash that right arm. So Dak's like, all right, we're going to throw this now. We also got George Karlaftis coming around. So this was a good cover one robber play where the Chiefs did a nice job, but you also kind of want to see this right here. I want to show this is because when you have a backup player who, by the way, Mike Edwards has lost a step, he's coming down here. He's not actually where he needs to be. He needs to stay a little bit more, understand that Shamari Connor is in man coverage right there. He's got his man. Okay, let him go, but stop going with him, right? Stay in the middle of the field. You have to maintain your responsibility. That comes into play later in the game, not just for Mike Edwards, but for Shamari Connor. Maintaining your responsibility is very important. And when you get eyes on players and you don't really maintain what you're supposed to be doing, then we start to see problems. And when you can't do that and other players can't get home on the quarterback, it all starts to fall apart. So let's not forget that you have to be able to maintain that connectivity and maintain your responsibility in order to make things happen. And this is the 4th down that I included where the Chiefs, it was 3rd and 3. The Chiefs got to stop, and then they went for it on 4th down at midfield, which is fine. This is a poorly designed play. It's just poorly designed. It's too easy. Sorry, this is 4th and 4. This is too easy for Dak Prescott, okay? So what we have here from the Chiefs defense is you're going to mug up both Drew Tranquill, Nick Bolton. They're going to show like they're blitzing, right? So what they're actually going to do is kind of a coffee house stunt where Tranquill is going to kind of look like he's going back out, but he's going to end up blitzing. And then Nick Bolton has to get all the way out here. And they're also going to send Jaden Hicks. Why is this a poorly designed play? Well, it's actually very, very easy because all this guy has to do now with a clear out here is get into space. There's nobody there. There's not one person that can do anything on this play. The ball comes out because Dak knows there's a blitz coming, and he also sees, okay, I'm in the middle of the field here. And once he notices that Nick Bolton has to be the one to get out here and the safety is way too far away to do anything about it, he just throws it to the flat, just throws it to the tight end. Boom. Okay, fine. I see the blitz coming. I'm just going to throw this out there and get a first down. It's poorly designed. This is a bad blitz because of the situation, fourth down, and because Dak Prescott is very, very cerebral. He sees this stuff, and this time he sees the blitz vacating, and he replaces that with a throw. That's how you beat the blitz. You see it coming, you replace it with a throw. And on fourth down, in that situation, I think everyone needed to have a man player, somebody close enough to be able to do that. In this situation, bring both of them. I don't want to see this. I want to see Jaden Hicks man to man on that tight end, and I want to see these two guys blitzing, because that is how you're going to get the pressure. That's how you're going to get pressure. And if you don't, you at least have man coverage, right? You at least have those players there. And then look at this. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. If Nick Bolton blitzes right here, instead, it felt like they didn't even think that Bolton was going to blitz. Maybe the center did a little bit, but this is what I mean. You bring him here, you still have Drew Tranquill is going to be free. The running back is going down here to block. And if you get this and create that A gap for Drew Tranquill, we're getting a free rusher in the face, most likely because of what you did with the coffee house stunt. And that's where Dak Prescott throws it away. The ball is now turnover on downs, most likely. So that's a poorly designed blitz, in my opinion, because it gives Dak the answers to the test. And I can't stand when you give really, really good quarterbacks answers to the test.
Underdog just dropped prediction markets, spreads, totals, and team outcomes. And the best part, you can combine them with player picks for bigger multipliers. It's available. You could sign up today with the code RGR Football and make a $5 fantasy entry to get $100 in fantasy bonus entries. Prediction markets are live now in 25 states, including Texas, California, and Florida. And Underdog is available in over 40 states with player picks and draft games. Prediction markets, player picks, all on Underdog.
And then multiple times they were able to get some pressure here, but this is something that I think is baffling to me specifically. It's 3rd and 7. I know they're inside their own 20, but you can't be getting this much depth on 3rd and 7. I understand where the routes are. Cut it off a little bit, man. This is where the first down marker is. It's right here. You have Ashton Gelati over here. He's going to be the only guy inside the line, the line to gain. Nobody else is. I understand they've got a chip help out here. Chris Jones is going to win quickly, but at the end of the day, when you have a dump off to the tight end and a running back option for Dallas and nobody is within 10 yards of said player, it's an easy first down. Like this can't happen personally. Trent McDuffie is that underneath player right there who ends up helping make the tackle. This is inexcusable defense. You're too far down the field. Jamar Conner is carrying all the way down, which I don't have a huge issue with. But at the end of the day, someone has to get in here and get down and not allow those options just because you think that they might be blocking. They're always able to catch the pass. And Chris Jones, again, wins quickly. The ball comes out to the underneath player, and it's a first down and 3rd and 7. Like that depth, man, it's kind of inexcusable at this point from everybody. Like I don't really understand why they're in that situation on 3rd and 7. If it's 3rd and 15, I get it. You throw the check down, then rally and tackle. It's 3rd and 7. You need an answer, and all they need to do is get it 7 yards. And if you're that far away from the line to gain, you're just in a bad position. So, I mean, I feel like all this comes back to pass rush. It usually does. But this one's technique. This one's purely technique. I'm going to go back here because what I want to tell you guys is that Jalen Watson had a game from hell, specifically against George Pickens, who's just going to run a little jab step outside and then run that slant. You know, he was targeted 5 times on slants. George Pickens ones. He caught 4. He made 4 catches for 73 yards. This is the big one because he knows there's nobody outside. He's the only one. This is the zero blitz. Everyone's coming. If you know this is a zero blitz, you can't get beat inside, specifically to where the blitz is being vacated, or excuse me, especially where the blitz is vacating space. All these players are coming. You only have help inside from that opposite field safety. You cannot give inside, give up the inside. If you're going to get beat deep down the field so you can recover and make a tough throw. Okay, for Dak Prescott. At the end of the day, if he gets hit, if he has to now read and react, if you think this is going to be an inside route, if George Pickens is running a slant right here, and you don't give the inside up, he has to then adjust his route on the fly, giving you a leg up on this. So this is very poor defensive leverage right here. He's playing man up, and then he's going to get back and out. This cannot happen in this situation. At least up at the top from Chamari Connor does one thing right. Make contact. Actually press. If you're going to align and press him. Don't let him don't give him a free release. And that's exactly what he does. And George Pickens, very good job of understanding there's nobody on the outside. I'm going to drop my hips and I'm going to get in. So first and foremost, man coverage with no help downfield, I need to see inside leverage. Force the receiver outside to the sideline. So that means he needs to be lined up probably on that inside shoulder. So move a step this way and don't let him inside. Don't let him cross your face, okay? That's number one. Number two, if we're going to be hard press alignment like this, I need to see true hard press, which means a jam, okay? You want to keep your hips and your shoulders aligned. So take your left hand in this situation for Watson and jam him, okay? You want to keep him inside. If he goes outside and you're jamming him with that left hand, guess what? Your hips are going to take you right there. And if he goes inside with that jam, your hips are going right to him too. We have no issues here. So I don't like that he's giving him a pure free release. And immediately on the snap, he is backing up. He is giving ground to the receiver on third down on an all-out blitz. You know the timing just needs to be thrown off. You can't be giving up the inside when you know the blitz is coming from that side. It's inexcusable. It's poor technique. And at the end of the day, you got to know better. They have to be in the situation to jam. If you know that blitz is coming, all you have to do is throw the timing off, let the pressure get there. And multiple times we saw guys into the same gap blitzing. I think Chris Jones is at fault here. He goes to the inside. He goes inside where the same place that Hicks is blitzing from, and he doesn't actually get there. Neither of them get there. I don't think they would have anyway, but that's not the point. In that situation, you can't be, I'm going into this gap, I'm going into this gap. You have to allow the blitz to be there. And Chris Jones going inside means that there's no free rusher there. He's trying to win quick too, but you can't have two people in the same gap. Can't do it. So you mess up there. Jalen Watson gives up inside leverage, and the blitz that you had with actually which drawn up a free rusher ends up not mattering, and then you give up a big play on third down. Like, it's just stuff like that. And this comes back to the misassignments. My feelings about Chamari Connor have been known for a very long time. Chamari Connor is a backup football player in the NFL, in my opinion. He should not be a starter because he can really only move downhill, make contact, and every now and then he finds himself in decent position with the players around him are better. He was better when Justin Reed was on the field. He's better as purely a big nickel. But you guys, I posted this on Twitter. Again, I've made my feelings known. It's a pivotal third down. Chiefs are up 21-20, okay? Third down, force a field goal. Chiefs, we know, end up going down and scoring at some point 28-24. And then they have another field goal, so 28-27. Obviously, game is differently. The game is different after that. If you force a field goal here, it's different. It doesn't end the same way. But based on what we know, you have to force a field goal here. Now they're playing cover 4 in the red zone, which is what you want to do. You want to limit those options, right? Everyone force the ball down, rally, and tackle, okay? So Dak Prescott initially comes off of the throw here. He wants to throw this to the out route. So you're going to get a little bit of a switch release here, and then CeeDee Lamb right here. And the Chiefs play it pretty well. Right here, you can be either or, right? The DB can come down here, or he can go back here. So Dak sees that, and he's not going to throw it. Also, you get hands in the way right there. So all in all, not a bad play up here, even though George Pickens opens up late. Trent McDuffie can kind of peel back if he needs to. So he's going to step up into the pocket and come back to his right. Running back's veering out here. Where's Chamari Connor? His eyes. Why are they over there? Why are his eyes over here? You need to be on the quarterback and stay in your lane right here. This needs to be where you are. And instead, eyes go back to the left. He's not paying attention to the guy underneath where, you've got this player here. Trust your guy. See the running back out of the backfield. He never sees him. His eyes go from here to here to here and then back to the quarterback. He never picks up the running back, not once. And instead, where you see right here, we know Nick Bolton has the ability to get here if Dak Prescott goes inside and then get back out here and chase him down. He's never making that run ever. Just hold your guy. Hold right here. That's all you got to do. That's it. And this play turns into a sack, most likely, if not a throwaway, because Dak Prescott's not getting away from Nick Bolton. He's not. Nick Bolton isn't the best athlete in the world, but he's much faster than Dak Prescott is at this point in his career. However, we see what happens when you don't maintain your responsibilities. That is why it's so important. And that's why Chris Jones chews his ass out right here. Right here. He is talking. You can't, you just can't. You have to maintain your responsibilities. When quarterbacks get out of the pocket, every now and then you're going to see linebackers go after them, which is fine, especially if there's no one where he's at, which to Nick Bolton's credit, there was nobody in the middle of the field there. Okay. So he did fine getting out after him, but Chamari Connor has to maintain. You can't allow quarterbacks getting out of the, much like we see all the time with Patrick Mahomes. How often does Patrick make defenders do something they shouldn't do and he gets a big play down the field, or he is able to throw it to the running back for a big play? Happens all the time. You have to, specifically going against them in practice every day, hey, you have to know that you can't do that, and you have to know the situation, right? I know everyone wants to make a play. I get all of that. But overall, you have to be mindful of that. And then here, I mean, Ryan Flournoy is I think he was undrafted at some point 2 years ago. But what Dak Prescott does, again, very smart. He's going to give himself space, right? He's going to move away from Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. He's going to run out this way. And then we have a little bit of inside attack. Okay, we're going to go to the corner here. And when you have a guy who can't cover on a wide receiver, you're going to take it every single time. And that's exactly what they did. It's just a smart play. Move the pocket away from Chris Jones, away from the blitz, and then just throw it against the guy who's not good in coverage. Chamari Connor is a defensive liability, okay? He is a defensive liability, and he's basically a linebacker in a safety body. The Chiefs have quite a few of those, and you just, when you're going up against an accurate quarterback who's going to throw the ball outside the numbers like that, you are in a poor situation every single time. And multiple times we saw Chamari Connor on CeeDee Lamb, and that's inexcusable too. And this is the final third down of the game that matters. Because I just wanted to show you guys again, he already learned earlier in the football game, Jalen Watson is that you have to have inside leverage on third down. You can't give up the inside, especially if they're just going to run this. Like, if you know you're a man coverage, okay, so you know that this defender right here, Jaden Hicks, has the running back. You know this. You know it, and you know it. But you're once again being moved by that push release. It's inexcusable, man. Like, it's inexcusable. In this situation, I know they're playing zone. Like, I know they're playing zone. I get it. I don't think you can allow that to happen on another third down. You have to know the slant's coming from George Pickens. So first and foremost, I think we need to switch this. Personally, I think Jaden Hicks needs to be here, and the corner Jalen Watson needs to go here. I think that's how it should be played. I know that ends up not being what it is, but it's just so easy to go after. And when you have, again, outside leverage and you're being pushed outside, he's creating more space for himself. So what we saw Jalen Watson do, and and consistently get beat by slant routes and everything, it was tough to watch, right? But at the end of the day, I think that the coverage was just not good. Some of the blitz designs were awful. And when I'm looking at this game back, what I'm going to do, I mean, when I was watching this game back, I come back to how they can't pressure with 4. When you can't pressure with 4 and you have guys playing against their responsibilities, you're forced to blitz even more. And when Spags blitzed, I mean, early in the game, he had that creative play drawn up. It got him. And then later, they had to blitz almost out of necessity. And that's where Dak said, okay, they're going to blitz here. I know what's coming. Let's find it, identify it, and let's throw to it. Let's throw into it. And multiple times he was able to do that, specifically on 3rd down. So the Chiefs' defense away from Kansas City has been really, really bad this season. And it was another showcase of that. And on 3rd down, much where they're able to, they had so many 3rd and longs that the Cowboys were able to convert that it was just disgusting to watch. So that's where it comes down to. I know the offense did not do their part either in this football game. Don't get me wrong. But when you have an offense on multiple 3rd and long situations and you allow them to convert, there's a lot of responsibility that falls on your shoulders. And I just think that the Spags in this game was outmatched by Dak Prescott and Schottenheimer. Like, I think Brian Schottenheimer did a great job just going back to it. If it works, go back to it. And they did. So it just shows you that when you have some of these players who are good in the system, but when they are asked to be more than the system, they fail. And Jalen Watson, Shamari Connor failed multiple times in these situations. So hope you guys were able to at least get something out of it. You'll learn a little bit. Maybe you didn't enjoy it, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to learn a little bit here at RGR Football. My name is Daniel Harms. Again, you guys can see all of my work at Bleacher Report that I'm doing for the draft, as well as on Twitter at InHarmsWay19. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that sub button right now. We'll have more content for you. We'll still have game plans for you, even if you might not be interested in some of the games coming up at the end of the day. We might see more of the young players in against the Houston Texans. So I'm hopeful and excited about that. And please enjoy the rest of your day and week, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.